it's been pretty amazing. It's actually been pretty amazing the last few months doing the quantum entanglement remote experiments. And at the weekend, so today's Monday, if you're watching in real time, so 2 days ago on Saturday, 9th of November 2024, I ran my Health Activation Day. Now, the Health Activation Day was conceived coming up to 2 years ago, because one of the things that people used to say about the MBS Energy Fest, the Mind Body Spirit Energy Fest, they absolutely loved it, always life-changing, just off the charts. And one of the consistent bits of feedback was, really like to do more on the body. So I thought, let's do a whole day on the body with some of the tools and modalities and technologies that I've been using. By the time we rolled around to actually running it, that had considerably changed in terms of my previous vision, because I actually had a lot more in terms of the tools and technologies and modalities. Let me just show you a little smorgasbord of what we actually had on the day. So we had the scalar energy generators in the room. So that was creating scalar energy for the space that we were working in. We also had the harmonic frequency generator. So choosing frequencies, they then get infused, if you want to put it in that term, easiest way to describe it, they get infused into the scalar energy. So everybody that's in that scalar energy field gets the benefit of those Hertz frequencies as well. And we chose some different ones. We had the Wrist X, which was really popular. A really gentle, lovely way to activate the meridian points, cleanse the blood. We had something to activate the vagus nerve, which is the nerve that runs pretty much the length of the body, is connected to many of the major organs, and is an instant way to reduce stress, anxiety, and create more dopamine, the feel-good factor. We had the hydrogen water. You can see one of the devices there. We also had a vortex water. It's not on that picture. We had the block therapy, which is about fascia release. Wow. And we had cold lasers as well. We had the probes and the feedback. The feedback in the room with people talking was amazing. I have actually got the feedback forms here. I've only actually read one of them, and I read it partially last night. Haven't read the others, so I thought we might read them together. Fingers crossed they're good. So these are some of the things that we had going on in the room on the day. Absolutely amazing. Of course, we also had the fabulous Huna. Huna. And some of you have heard me talk about this before. When I used it with a particular client, there was an event called the TCCHE, the Conference for Consciousness and Human Evolution, and somebody had just flown in from Japan, and they were just on their knees, like jet lag. So I don't even know if I can come back and watch the movie tonight. So I did about 2 minutes of Huna with them right there in the room with like 600 people walking around us. And they just looked at me and said, Huna is better than Starbucks. Huna is better than Red Bull. So everyone who attended, I also did some individual Huna with everyone in the room. We also did some health tarot reading. So I did a past, present, future tarot reading for everyone who attended. And we also did a group access consciousness process. So we had a lot of stuff going on in the room. Now, with regards to Huna, it's one of those things that works beautifully remotely, because I've got clients as far afield as Australia, where I'll be here where I am in Watford, just outside of London, and I'll be doing the Huna from here, and they will feel it as far afield as Australia. So you can see something there from the wonderful Pippa Neve, who is based out in Australia. She was listening to an audio recording. It wasn't even a video. And that was her feedback. And what I realized a few years later is everything that she's describing about her third eye, the heart, the chakras, the solar plexus, feeling compressed, and then seeing the triangle of fire, and then feeling the energy being drawn out of the body from the heart center, and then feeling as though her heart was opening up and it was shining from the inside out. And seriously, everything that she said, hi, Kate, how are you? Lovely to have you here. Everything she was saying was the order and sequence in which I did the Huna symbols, but nobody knew that because it was an audio recording. So people used to dial in by telephone. And in those days, I wasn't teaching Huna or anything like that. People would just be on the receiving end. So all people would have heard is, that's it. And they're serious, but nobody, even a Huna practitioner, a Huna trainer would have no idea what I just did, because we all use the breath differently. We draw the symbols differently. So we had the Huna going on in the room as well. Now, everyone was blown away with the block therapy. So I actually have a free block therapy room if you want to check it out. I'll leave that up there. I think my square is probably blocking it a little bit. Hold on, let me just see. Let's see if I do that. It's a little bit smaller, but you can see the URL, www.onlinetransformationstm.com/block therapy room. And it's free. No sign up, no email required. You just choose a nickname, choose an app, add in, you can call yourself Fifi, Trixie Belle, whatever. Choose an avatar. There are some cartoons to choose from. And then you just log into the room. And I've added there a link where you can get a free 9-day sampler program. All you need is a rolled up towel. You do not need the wooden blocks. And it's a video class. It's fantastic. So that's the class everyone was doing in the room yesterday when they were doing the block therapy piece. I've also added a link if you wanted to read more about the blocks themselves. And actually, I haven't added there. I'm going to add it actually. I did an interview with the Telegraph newspaper about how I use block therapy to sort out the osteoarthritis in my shoulder in just 8 weeks versus 12 to 18 months of physio, possible steroid injections, and ending up with an operation. I'm not making any healing claims. I'm just telling you what happened for me. And I went from barely being able to move my arm to be able to put in both my arms above my head within 8 weeks. And that was 2 years ago now. So what I'll do is actually have to log back into the room, and I'll add the link to what I will say with the Telegraph is I had to ask them to do a retraction because they said that I used yoga blocks and that I did Pilates. I did neither of those two things. So I think it was just beyond their comprehension that these two little wooden blocks could make that much difference in that amount of time. But anyway, so let's get on to the feedback. So I'm going to start with a piece of feedback that I did share on my Facebook page because they emailed me this morning, and I thought this was a really beautiful way to describe their experience. So they said, and this is one of the attendees on Saturday, I'm trying to find the words to describe an overall feeling that I'm experiencing since Saturday. And they sent this today, Monday morning. And the best that comes to mind is a sensation of clearing out a load of cobwebs that have been lurking in the dark recesses unnoticed. I'm keeping a watchful eye on how things evolve and will keep you posted. And they also said they slept exceptionally well. We finished about, let's 5:30, 6 o'clock. They said they're in bed because I was staying in a hotel. They said they're in bed by 7:30 and they just slept right through the night. So that was just wonderful. And sleep, when we did the quantum entanglement remote experiments, sleep was one of the big things that everybody noticed. And there was somebody who took part that has been suffering from insomnia. I didn't know this, but they've been suffering from insomnia for 3.5 years. And they had the best night's sleep they've had in 3.5 years on day 7 of my quantum entanglement remote experiment, after they listened to the Huna and the access consciousness clearing. But they had a whole 7 days in the remote scalar energy field. Now, when I say scalar energy, I think hold on, let me just, so I can just show you what I mean. That's the one. So these were the scalar energy boxes that we had in the room. Now, people are doing the quantum entanglement remote experiment. I've been doing name imprinting and putting them in between the scalar fields here, but I actually took those into the room with me to run the actual workshop. So let's see. So I was asking people what's the best thing. Trying out the scalar handheld machines. I've seen them for years, but always been put off by the price. And one of the reasons I did this as well, absolutely what this person here is saying, it is very rare. I don't know if it's ever been done anywhere in the world. I'm going to guess it hasn't, where somebody's brought together all of these tools and technologies and modalities and had them in the same room, because I wanted to give people the opportunity to experience in them. Just one of the things they're talking about, it was $10,000. That's just one of the devices. And not everybody's going to want to lay that out. And I didn't want to either. But I was, really thinking I have to put my health first. So you don't have to lay out $10,000 just to get your hand on one of those devices. You come into the room, you use them. And actually somebody who was, they mentioned it, I've been going, that's a great idea. People say, Marilyn, have you thought about doing like a regular drop-in day once a month, where it's not the full-on workshop? I'm not doing all the intro and the individual Huna and the individual tarot readings and all of the access consciousness, but maybe people just come in for the day. They might just come in to do a block therapy class, for example, and take themselves through that, or they might come to use the lasers, or they might just come to bask in the Huna energy field. So that was one of the things they said. What was the best and most beneficial part of the day for you? I always love the individual clearing opportunities, the access consciousness, the Huna. Anything you've changed? No, they said no, the venue was perfect for the number of participants, probably for a lot. I only wanted 6 people attending. We had 5. So I chose that venue for that reason, and therefore had to limit the number of people. So they're right. And so talking about it, and I said, did the workshop meet your expectations? Yes, in capital letters. So I'm reading their feedback form, but they've said yes, in capital letters, that it did meet their expectations. 5 words would you use to describe it? Informative, fun, experiential, joyous. Would you recommend this workshop to others? Yes. And anything you'd say? So Marilyn's workshops are always interesting, and this one was like all the others. I learned new information, experienced the equipment that was new to me, and it had an effect, and it has already had an effect on my health, which is lovely. And they said, if I think of anything else, I'll write to you. Right, so I have the rest of the feedback in here. I have not read them. So let's, whoa. I said, I said people can, I said people can also, if they want to give me extra information, they've done it on 2 pages. So this is going to be interesting. All right. So I said, okay, what was what has been the biggest impact and benefit for you so far in taking part in this workshop? They said the opening up and lightening of the load that has happened throughout the day, as I have experienced from the unity of the equipment. What was the best and most beneficial part? Getting hands-on experience using the vast array of equipment on offer. I have been benefiting from the blocks as I've been hesitating for more than a year, not knowing if I wanted both blocks or not, and I clearly do, because that's a nice, and several people said exactly the same. They heard me talk about the miraculous blocks 2 years ago. Occasionally I bang on about them, and I've been talking about them for the last 2 years, and even with all of that said, and people hearing what I said about my shoulder, I still haven't done it, because they haven't had the experience of it for themselves. So everybody got the opportunity to do that. Anything you change? Can't think of anything right now. This venue appears to be perfect for it, and the pace and the company seems spot on. People were wonderful, absolutely amazing. And actually, no, two of the people in the group have met before. Pretty sure they've met before, because they've been regulars at the Mind Body Spirit Energy Fest, but everybody else didn't. So basically, it was a new group of new people getting to know each other. Would you recommend this? Did this workshop meet your expectations? So I'm just going to, their name is not on this, so I'm just going to show you that bit, just so you can see what they've said for themselves. Yes, 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 and beyond, in terms of meeting expectations. And they said they love, oh yeah, we did dowsing as well, because I was asking people, bit of the Spice Girls approach, tell me what you want, what you really, really want, what would you really love as a result of attending this today, etc. And of course, people came up with essays, but then we said, okay, what's our starting point? People are like, oh, I'm not sure. So I said, do you want to do some proxy dowsing? And I had my dowsing rods in the room. So I was dowsing for everyone. Well, everyone said yes, because I just said to the first person, should we douse on it for you to help you get a sense of what they're going to use everything, but what's going to be a good starting point? Because I had my view, but I thought, let's check. So I did it for the first person. Everybody else was like, oh yeah, come over here and douse for me as well. So that was fantastic. Let's see what's on the other side. What 5 word would you use to describe this workshop? Eye-opening to what is possible, relaxing, beneficial, energizing, and entertaining, brackets as in fun and social and informative. And that's actually what I wanted. The reason, because we ran it in a private cottage, the reason I ran it there, we've got a sofa in the room, we've got our own kitchen, we've got our own bathroom, there's actually even a bedroom. If people maybe didn't want to do the block therapy on the floor, they could do it on a softer surface. And I wanted it to, we had, a cup of tea, coffee, herbal tea, there's a fridge, there's an oven, there's of course kettle, there's a toaster. I just wanted it to feel like we were at home, and so that's really lovely that people kind of felt the social aspect as well. Would I recommend this workshop to others? Yes, I think lots of people would enjoy the day and find their own benefits from all that is on offer. So please feel free to comment that, you know, if you're going to be explaining to someone like a promo. If you want a refreshing, informative opportunity to have hands-on experience in a non-medical equipment available, then sign up for one of these days and enjoy. Aches and pains can be a thing of the past with no toxic chemicals involved. Awesome. And they said, after any other comments or suggestions, they have said, this has been a fantastic day, Marilyn, that I know will have positive vibes and repercussions over the next few hours, days and months ahead. I look forward to sharing what I experienced with you. Thank you. I loved it. So that was that one there. It's actually suddenly got dark. I'm going to close my curtains in a minute. Right. Okay, I know what that is. Alrighty. So what we got next? Okay, cool. Next. And the handwriting is all completely different, because sometimes I remember years ago, when I used to share, well, I still do, but not as much, just other things going on. But when I used to share my testimonials and things that clients have said and do videos about them, I had somebody actually email me, and well, she emailed somebody that I know and called me a liar. And so there's no way any of those testimonials can be true. I'm like, dude, do you really think I have time to sit here making up hundreds and thousands of testimonials? I really don't. But it was interesting that the testimonials were so amazing that they actually thought I was sitting here making them up. Right. So best bit, being able to use a different equipment. What was the best and most beneficial part of the day for you? All of it, the Huna, the access consciousness equipment. What, if anything, would you change about the workshop, the way it was delivered? They said it exceeded my expectations. And did the workshop meet your expectations? Yes, 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 and yes. Okay, what 5? Hang on, sorry, it's just got really dark. I'm just aware that it's getting darker by the second. So, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the lights on, because suddenly you find yourself sitting in darkness at this time of year. So talk amongst yourselves for a minute. In the words of Arnie, I'll be back. All right, here we go. That's better. Right. So what 5 words would you use to describe this workshop? Relaxing, healing, fun, informative, beneficial. Would you recommend this workshop to others? Yes, 1000%. That's lovely. I'll show you that. Oh, hold on. So he said yes, 1000%. And then comment, Marilyn's energy is amazing. It's fascinating. Her knowledge, the knowledge she has, Marilyn is, and she made the workshop very enjoyable. Other comments, suggestions, or ideas, they said, offer sessions where people can come and use the different equipment for a fee. It could be once a month. So I'm definitely going to think about that, because I also think it is a very good idea. There was a lot of equipment, you know. It's a funny, actually, it's a bit of a weird paradigm. I don't know if anyone's ever found this. Packing to go on holiday, I don't know about you, just packing to go on holiday can be really quick. And actually packing to come home from holiday can be really quick as well. That was not the case with packing for this, because all the equipment, it's robust yet potentially delicate if you're transporting it. And I'm taking it there in a suitcase. So I wanted to make sure nothing got squashed, properly padded. So when suitcase is banging up and down, potentially it doesn't get damaged. So it actually took once I got all the equipment together, it actually took about 45 minutes to position it all in the right way in the suitcase. And then it took over an hour to pack it all up again, because I'm putting it all in the bubble wrap, packing it in the boxes, calling up all the seriously. So it's quite a bit to organize, but I'd be open to once a month if people are interested and want to come along. And it was in person, so it's in central Watford, so that's 20 minutes on the fast train from London Euston, and then when you arrive in Watford, it's about 10 minutes walk into the town centre. For those of you who know Watford, if you know where Marks and Spencer's is and that sort of thing, we're right in the centre of town. So this one, oh, this is lovely. So what has been your biggest impact and benefit for you so far in taking part in this workshop? They said, I felt the healing at the workshop. Tears flowed with healing breakthroughs. I enjoyed trying out all the handheld equipment and feeling the benefits. That's lovely. This was a very personal workshop, although it was a group session. Ideas were shared, and the group was really fantastic. They were exchanging some very cool stuff. Oh, and talking of cool stuff, I had the hydrogen water maker in the room, so everyone was drinking hydrogen water. I also bought the water vortexer along, so I was vortexing all the water, and one of the attendees was a great big bottle of water directly from Glastonbury. So if you know Chalice Wells, that sort of area where all of those wonderful ley lines are, we were very well looked after, but everybody was so wonderful. I said, what, if anything, would you change about the workshop? They said nothing. It ticked all the boxes and more. Did the workshop meet your expectations? Yes, and more and more and more and more and more. I'll show you that little bit as well at the bottom, just so you can see it's different handwriting each time. It's not me. I'm not a graphologist and I haven't got this many writing styles. So 5 words you would use to describe this workshop: activating, healing, experiential, calming, rejuvenating. Would you recommend this workshop to others? Definitely yes. I'll show you. There's no names on it. No, I'll show you that as well. They said, oops, definitely yes, they would. And any other comments? Running in-person health activation days, using the equipments and the handhelds, plus individual sessions. So everybody was very creative in coming up with their ideas. I think I've left 1 or 2 of them in the suitcase, but I've got a couple more here. Yeah, I've got this one as well. So this will be the final one that we go through. So, health activation workshop. What has been the biggest impact and benefit for you so far? Fascinated and intrigued by all the equipment, stroke health activation. Love the Huna and Access Consciousness, and it was a total blast. Best and most beneficial part, love the entire workshop, despite arriving late. Something that I want to do more. I missed the workshops because they used to come to my annual Mind Body Spirit Energy Fest. So lovely to see everyone again. And yeah, so what, if anything, would you change about the workshop? Nothing. Love the workshop and the amazing water too, and the knowledge is fab. Did the workshop meet your expectations? Excellent, outstanding, amazing. Thank you, Marilyn, for the awesome day. So again, just so you can see, it's different handwriting. That's that one. And what 5 words would you use to describe this workshop? Fascinating, knowledgeable, amazing, mind-blowing. Love the equipment. You are deserving. Attend this workshop. So it's a message to everyone listening. They said you are deserving, as in you deserve to look after yourself. Attend this workshop. So let me just show you that. There we go. So would you recommend this workshop to others? Yes. Feel free to give a comment. Love the workshop. Feed your soul and health with love and healing. You deserve to attend this workshop. Any other suggestions? Fantastic, mystical, and fabulous technology that is mind-blowing. So this is genuinely the first time I'm seeing these forms, because I collected them all up on Saturday night. By the time a couple of people stayed later, so they left about, I don't know, 8 p.m, something like that. And so by the time I finished clearing up and packing everything up, it was 9:15 in the evening. And by the time I got home, I'm like, I just left everything in the, there was some fresh fruit, etc. So I took the fruit out of the suitcase, left everything else, and I pulled them out yesterday. I thought I'll read them, just thought I'm just chilling today. So I'm just reading them now for the first time. So absolutely amazing. And I just, I've left that. Oh, sorry. You probably got a very tiny view. I've just seen that I've had that up on the screen. You probably had a very tiny view of the feedback forms. But yes, the handwriting is all different for every single one of them. So there's that one, and 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 there's that one. They're all very different. I have not sat and written these myself. So thank you to everyone who came along. Also a massive thank you for those of you who took part in the very first Scalar Energy Rife Frequency Generator radionics imprinting. Well, the radionics imprinting is happening now at the moment, but thank you to everyone who took part in the quantum entanglement remote experiment. Really appreciate it. The feedback has been incredible. And with regards to that one, that was all this feedback was an in-person workshop. going along the bottom, the bit.ly/remote-quantum-results, this all started, where are we now? Had the idea in June, rolled it out and ran it in July and into the beginning of August. And everyone had 7 days of remote energy transmissions, being in the scalar energy field, experiencing the right frequencies, but it was remote. People were all over the world. So they just told me what they wanted, and some people that's all. So I just did name imprinting, same sort of way that I do my Huna energy clearings. Other people did what we call the molecular quantum entanglement, where they sent a nail clipping. So half of the group sent a nail clipping, half did not. The results for the entire group, mind blowing. And everyone had 7 days. So it took me 7 weeks to run the whole experiment. Within 24 hours, one of the first people to take part, they just said my sleep has just been so improved, because they felt like they'd been hit by a truck in terms of what been going on in their life and etc. So they just said sleep was drastically improved. They had the best night's sleep they've had in ages, and by the end of their 7 days, they said they just feel cleaner inside. Someone else who took part, they were wanting to work on feeling demotivated, not procrastination, that sort of thing. And they said by the second, third day, they just suddenly felt inspired to move and exercise and move their body, which have not felt that way in ages. They said they're also really thirsty. Someone else who had been waking up every 2 hours because they were on medication for blood pressure, and so it was affecting the bladder, so they're up every 2 hours during the night to go to the bathroom. When you're getting up every 2 hours, that really interrupts your sleep. And on that first night, they just said they just slept through the night and had a good 5-6 hours. And then on the third day, which would have been the Wednesday, because I did Monday to Sunday for everyone. So on the Wednesday, the third day for their experiment, they went into London. And so they didn't need the bathroom. They just went out and had a really lovely day in London, which is amazing, absolutely amazing. They also said they felt more focused, etc. There was someone else who, because everyone sent an email saying what they wanted to work on, and they said hip pain, osteoporosis. Fine, that's all I knew. So what I do with that is I go and I build an individual frequency set for each person that's taking part. So I built a frequency with the joints and the hip and the ligaments and bones and tendons and all. I'm not making any healing claims, just making that clear. We're not making any healing claims, not making any medical claims, not doing any diagnosis. This is really about, the reason I call it the health activation day for the workshop, it's about activating and supporting the body and what it's naturally designed to do. So the person with the hip, within 48 hours, they started to notice changes. They sent me an email on the third day saying, Marilyn, I've been walking with a less pronounced limp. I've got less pain. And they walked up the stairs without using the handrail. Amazing. The following weekend, they went to a school fair with their grandchildren. And they sent me an email and they sent me the video footage, and they said, Marilyn, I was with my grandchildren at the school fair and I did the Candy dance. Now, Candy is a song by Cameo. Do, do, do. There's lots of hop, skip, jump, etc. with that. So if you've got osteoporosis in your hip, that's not your ideal dance to be doing. They said, Marilyn, I did the Candy dance, not once, but twice. And the second time was to the fast jungle version. Jungle is a genre of music. That's amazing. And then a couple of weeks ago, I was out in Canada emceeing the TCCHE, the Conference for Consciousness and Human Evolution. I was there last month. While I was there, this particular person who's taking part sent me an email with the letter from their consultant at the hospital. The letter is confirming that they have severe osteoporosis in the hip. And before they took part in my experiment, they were basically in line to go and get a walker. You know, that frame that you have, and you put it in front of you, then you walk a little bit, and you put it in front of you, and then you walk a little bit, and then you put it in front of you, and then you walk a little bit. They were in line to go and get a walker and have a big operation. Now, they might still go and have the operation. This is not what this is about. But to go from needing a walker to being on the dance floor with their grandchildren doing the Candy dance, That's a big improvement in the space of a week. And somebody else on the other end of the scale, because some of those are very physical things, on the other end of the scale, there was someone takes part, and they kind of channel, they're very spiritual, that's what they do for a living. And they said in the last 3 years since COVID, they said they wanted to work on loss and grief and losses with their business as a result of what happened during COVID. And that's also loss in feeling disconnected, etc. But they said they felt as though they'd been spiritually cut off and their spiritual connection had been capped, like there was a block on it. So during that 7 days, they said they felt that they'd been uncapped, unblocked. Everything was just flowing. They felt as though they've regained their spiritual connection. They said a book that they've been struggling to write is just flowing. And they said in capital letters, I'm back. That's amazing. They said, and they also then started to notice things falling into place with regards to the business, new connections, new opportunities showing up. Absolutely fantastic. So yeah, it's been a real mixture. And there was someone else who was said they wanted to work on muscle. One of the things was muscle stiffness. So, so overall stiffness in the body. Now, it was on day 6 and day 7 of the experiment. Now they said they felt freer, muscles were loosening up, etc. Wonderful. On the Saturday and the Sunday, they had 2 one-day events to go to. And this is not their cup of tea. They're not into small talk, networking, all that malarkey, not that interested. They said, Marilyn, things were flowing there as well, in terms of they were making conversation, they were making small talk, they were connecting with people. So that sense of flow also extended into their personal life. And they sent me an email the first day I was running the health activation workshop. I invited them to come along, and they said, can't make it, really sorry, but I hope a lot of people sign up, because this has helped me in my physical, spiritual and emotional and mental, life and well-being, which is amazing. So they noticed that sense of flexibility showing up in all areas of their life, not just the physical. And it's interesting, the person who said they felt cleaner inside, they said if they could put it into words, they said it felt their energy now felt flowy. And a lot of people talked about that sense of flow. So that, and all of that I've just shared with you, with those examples, they were all done remotely. I didn't see anyone, I didn't talk to anyone. What I did do for each person taking part is they all had an individual Huna and Access Consciousness energy clearing and Huna energy symbols. So I did an MP3 for everyone. So I recorded that. I sent that via email at the end of the 7 days. But apart from that, there was no contact between us at all. And those were the results. And it was really interesting putting people into the scalar energy field, doing the name imprinting, doing the harmonic frequencies. People were feeling it, they were reacting to it. And I shouldn't be surprised, that's exactly the same as me doing my remote Huna for the last 24 years at this point. So yeah, it's been fantastic. So the health activation day gave people an opportunity to feel and experience some of that with the scalar energy boxes, the harmonic frequencies, and cold lasers. They gave people a chance to experience it in person. So yeah, that's that. So it was amazing. It was fantastic. You can check out, if you want to look in more detail at what we did, there is the bit.ly, www.bit.ly/healing-activation-day. So you go on to there, just ignore the date now because the date has now passed. So it's talking about the 9th of November being the date for the workshop, but you can go and have a look there. And if I run another one, I'll probably just use that same URL and I'll add the information about the drop-in day. So what I'm going to do with regards to the drop-in day, because once the one person mentioned, everybody was like, oh yeah, I love that. That's a great idea. I would come. So what I'm going to do is I'll send something out to my e-newsletter list and float the idea, see if it's got legs. And if it does, we can look at, I don't know if I do every single month. I might do if there's enough demand. But we'll see. So I'll ping you an email. And also with regards to the remote experiment, the 6 people who took part in that, they were also drawn from my e-newsletter list. So I had a couple of people say, well, I didn't see it. I mean, I know in terms of the algorithms on Facebook, for example, there are times when I post things about work, events, etc. People don't see them at all, full stop, or they'll see them 14, 21 days later, by which time you've sometimes missed the event. So when I had one place left, I did put it out on social media, but by the time it arrived, that place had already been taken by someone on the e-newsletter list, because it took so long for the social media post to land. So one of the things you can do is just go and look on my Facebook page, /Marilyn Devonish, MARILYN DEV for Victor, ONISH. But the easiest thing to do is join my e-newsletter list. So go to my main website. I'll say it and I'll spell it. It's TranceFormationstm.com. So www.trance, F for Freddy, FORMATIONSTM. So transformationstm.com. When you land on the website, there's a red What's New button, normally top right. Click that, a panel slides out, and then you can have a scroll about what's happening. But again, you've got to remember to sort of go there and click the panel. On the same landing page, homepage, if you look on the top left, you'll see a box where you can sign up for my MailChimp e-newsletter list. And that's where you get first notification when I'm launching something new. There's always a special kind of 10% off for those of you on my e-newsletter list for launch week. So all of that you'll get directly in your email inbox. And if you wanted to be invited to the Health Activation Day, if I do run one, as I said, they're limited because the size of the cottage is limited. So my maximum for this one, I wanted 6 people. If we were doing a drop-in and people weren't there all day, then could maybe have a few more, but it's going to be limited. It's not like, yeah, 30 people, come on down. That's just not going to work. And also in terms of the amount of equipment there is, so people aren't waiting about, because everyone yesterday, if someone was using the handheld cold laser, someone else was wearing the wrist deck, someone else was on the floor doing the block therapy thing, someone else was doing the vagus nerve stimulation, someone else was using the lasers and the probes. So, you know, there was never a time where somebody was standing around sort of, you know, tapping their feet, which is the way I designed it, which is why I'd, you know, limited the numbers. But yeah, if you're interested, keep an eye on your email inbox. I'll send you details of what I'm thinking of. And if there's enough interest, we could go for it and do a more informal drop-in day where, you know, nominal fee, come along. And it might be you just come for one thing. You might go, I just want to do fascia release, or I just want to do the belly button healing, or I just want to use the lasers, or whatever it might be. Or you can just say, cool, I'm going to hang out all day, chill out, meet wonderful people, and use all the fabulous equipment. So I'll give you a little reminder of what that fabulous equipment is. But this is just a little selection of some of the things that we had in the room as we were going through. And there was also the option for people to do the individual tarot readings, the individual dowsing, the individual access consciousness, for example, because there's a separate private bedroom there as well. But that's basically what we had going on. So yeah, if you're interested, keep an eye on my e-newsletter list, and I shall keep you posted. Well, thank you again to everyone who showed up. If you know someone who could benefit from these wonderful modalities, either remotely or in person, if you happen to be in the UK, then please feel free to share my details, share this link. That would be amazing. One of the things that is coming up in December, so there's one place left if you want to take part in December. It's the 11-day remote terrain detox. So every day for 11 days, we're doing a remote. Now for that one, we will need the nail clippings. So I'm going to run that in December. And then if there's overspill and I can't fit everyone in for December, I'll run another 11-day cycle in January. So yeah, if you want to do that, then all of the details are in my e-newsletter as well. And that again is completely remote, just like the quantum entanglement remote experiment. And it's going to be even more in depth than that. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens, because the remote experiment results were spectacular. So let's see what happens with this one. So check out the remote experiments blog. It's going along the bottom of the ticker tape there, www.bit.ly/remote-quantum-results. So thank you for watching. Thank you for those who took part, and also thank you for sharing if you know someone who could benefit from improving their health, activating the body, strengthening the immune system, cleansing the blood a bit, releasing the fascia. getting those wonderful endorphins going, because there's been a lot of stress and pressure just this last 4 years, and I think many people are almost carrying a build-up of that and not even realizing it. So when I read you that first testimonial about the person saying about the cobwebs in being in those dark recesses, and you don't even realize what you're carrying until you release it, because the person who said just the tears were flowing, while the tears are flowing, they're laughing, going, what is going on? Because there's just been stuff that's been backing up and building up, has not had an outlet. And that is why I designed this, and that is why I designed the quantum entanglement remote experiments. If you're somewhere in the world, you can't be in the UK, you can do this remotely. And if you can get to the UK, to sunny Watford, then you can join. If I run another of the health activation days, you can join us in person. But thank you all. Wishing you all a fabulous rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on where you are in the world. And here's to your good health. Here's to our good health. And I really look forward to working with you if you're going to join us for another of the remote experiments. Marilyn Devonish, the NeuroSuccess coach and rapid transformation specialist. Over and out. Catch you later.